change people's lives, even save people's lives. This is a huge mitzvah, and thank you for doing this. This is my place. There's no place else I would rather be. This is my wife. This is my husband. There's no one else I would rather be with. And what I'm doing here, running a family, running a home, there's nothing I would rather do than this. That's heaven. And that's why if it's not like that, then it's hell.
Today, I'm especially excited to introduce to you Rabbi Manis Friedman and Dr. Elad Ben Elul. Rabbi Manis Friedman is an internationally renowned speaker and author, a sought-after marriage counselor, philosopher, and a public thinker. He combines Jewish wisdom with humor and is known for his unique, provocative, and inspiring perspective. And Dr. Elad Ben Elul. He is an anthropologist, lecturer at Tel Aviv University, teacher of Chassidic thought, and a devoted student of Rabbi Manis Friedman. Their previous book, I Did Not Ask to Be Born, became a bestseller shortly after its release. Together, they hold a learning community that hosts a weekly lecture. Today, we'll be discussing their book, Back to Innocence, בחזרה לתמימות. Hello, Rabbi Manis Friedman, and hello, Dr. Elad Ben Elul.
You read the book?
Of course. Yeah,
So what's your first impression?
I really enjoyed the book. You can see a lot of yellow marks. I learned a lot, and I do have a lot more to learn. That's why I'm so excited for our talk today. So before we jump in, I'd love for each of you to share one book that has deeply influenced your life. We'll start with you, Rabbi.
You think we're going to pick the same book?
Which book was that?
The Tanya.
Could you maybe elaborate on how it impacted your life?
The Tanya is the first written work on Chabad thinking. It clarifies the most fundamental questions that we are afraid to ask, or we have tried to ask and never got an answer. The most fundamental. What is a Jew? Who is God? What does he want? Why are we here? Simple questions that have to be answered. And only Tanya.
Amazing. Elad, could you also tell us how the book impacted your life?
Tanya has really changed my life a lot because it helped me understand myself, first of all, my inner conflicts, who I am, and what does it mean to be Jewish, really. It helps you on a personal level overcome bad habits, addictions, things that you want to change, but also to discover the higher self and the higher purpose of your existence. I have a sense of belonging and understanding of why I'm here, and now I can kind of like move around with it, and that's thanks to Tanya.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So the second book you wrote together, in Hebrew it's called בחזרה לתמימות, Back to Innocence. If you can share with us a little bit about the creation process of the book and the inspiration behind it.
I started listening to Rabbi Manis's lectures about 8 years ago. It was during my PhD years in anthropology. On the side, I was constantly listening to the lectures. Kind of like someone is reminding you something that you always knew. And I felt like everyone needs to know this knowledge. So I decided to really learn all the lectures from all the years, 30 years back, learning everything, and then also talking to the rabbi myself and asking more and more questions and expanding more, and then researching the sources and the references and the holy text, creating a whole other PhD on the side. And I remember one time I told the rabbi that I feel like I'm writing it as if there's an emergency and the book has to come out immediately. So he said, I think it's the only way to write a good book. I was kind of worried sometimes about things that I'm saying that are against the politically correctness, both in the religious world, because things there were a bit more maybe modern or more open than what the religious world is used to, but then also in the secular world, because things there were kind of like breaking apart and controversial in a way. So I was a bit worried, but I tried to make it as clear and as understandable as possible, and Baruch Hashem, it's working.
Beautiful. What do we see here on the cover?
The swings are kind of like a symbol of innocence. It was important for me that there will be a man and a woman. That's again something that I had to check, the halacha, because it's not common in books that are in the more religious world that there's a woman, and it's about marriage. We need both sides to be there, but I wanted it to be, tasteful and romantic, but still innocent and humble. So they're in separate side swings. They're having a shared experience, but they're still, I guess maybe it shows the first meetings that two people have, which is a part that you still keep a certain healthy distance, but you're still having an experience of a reintroduction of the souls.
That's very deep. I never heard this.
Ah, really? Actually, no one asked me before.
I'm glad to be the first to ask. Okay, so shall we dive in?
Yes.
Let's go. Rabbi, why is innocence a good thing, and why should we hold on to it?
Well, innocence is a good thing because nature is innocent. It's not always nice. Nature can be very painful, but it's always innocent. When we drift away from our nature, we lose that innocence. It becomes unnatural, too calculated, too political, too make-believe. Like you want it to be a certain way, so you start to make a philosophy about it, and you lose the innocence. Between a man and a woman, innocence is a really important part of the possibility of being able to live together. Without the innocence, everybody is functioning on their own theories, on their own wants, on their own imaginary needs. It's not possible. A good relationship is not possible without a little innocence. Trust, confidence, optimism, these are innocent conditions, like a child. So the childlike innocence is what makes it possible to really love somebody else besides yourself. Childish behavior makes it impossible for even children to get along. Never mind a marriage. So innocence is really the foundation of just the possibility that I could actually like someone else. It's got to come from a natural place. Innocence is natural, natural is innocent. So innocence doesn't mean naive. It means uncorrupted.
Could you perhaps elaborate a little bit more on your definition of innocence?
You hear these ideas, and someplace in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I knew that. Or, why didn't I know that? Why didn't anybody tell me before? Because it's so innocent. It's so true to life. It's not made up. It's not forced. It's not manufactured. It's just the way it is. If you can't be like that in a relationship, the arguments and the differences and the triggering of each other is just endless. Naive is not a good thing, but innocent is very good.
The book discusses a lot about how to find your second half. Many people, when they search for their second half, they seek their true love. Should we follow and look for true love, or is love not really the end goal?
I see you did read the book.
Of course.
You want a lot to answer?
I grew up with a really romantic sense, like of like a Disney movie, Hollywood thing of you have to find love, you have to find true love. As I started listening to Rabbi Manis's lectures, I kind of realized that love is not a worthy enough purpose, because love is a something. It's not a someone. So it's almost like an object. You're chasing something. When you're chasing something, it's not really romantic. The most romantic thing is to chase someone, especially if it's the other half of your soul. So in a way, love has become an idol, because it's something that can stand between me and the other person. If I'm interested in love, that means that the other person is almost like a tool for me to gain love. So I had this stage of like awakening, and I realized that it's not about love. What I want to say is actually there is a truer love than true love, like a deeper love that for the purpose of understanding our language, we're not going to call it love. We're just going to call it, unity. We're going to call it marriage. We're going to call it the other person, the other part of my soul, the other part of my body. So in a way, this is love, but it's not the love that we got used to And we want to include love within that journey, obviously, and we want love to be part of it, but it has to be very clear for us that it's not the main purpose or the deepest level of bonding and merging that two people can have.
So what is the deepest thing we should look for?
Becoming one, which naturally requires love. But it's a different order in your, because if you're chasing love, you might just, you will leave that person at some point if there's no love. It's a risky game. You're looking for love, there's no love here, I'm going.
It's slippery.
Yeah.
The purpose of marriage, if you want to look at it from a negative, the purpose of marriage is to cure the aloneness, to take away the feeling of I'm alone in the world. So what do you need to not be alone? Love? No. You need someone besides yourself, another person. A person who's capable of loving, but also a person who's capable of giving, a person who's capable of loyalty, a person who's capable of dissolving into a relationship. When you find that, of course you're going to love it. So really it's a question of, do you have something to love first, or do you have the love first? If you're looking for love and you don't know who to love, that's crazy. But if you have someone with whom you bond and therefore you love, that's real love. Love based on reality. There's someone in my life and I love it. Otherwise, what do you even mean by love? I'm looking for love. I don't know. What does that mean?
That's beautiful what you both just said. Many people seek attraction when they look for a partner. Is it mainly physical attraction that we should look for, or is there something much deeper than that we should find?
Well, we all know we have been, for the last, 80, 100 years, we've been getting married based on attraction. It doesn't make good marriages. If you're thinking, does it work? No, it doesn't work. We're trying to figure out why. Why is attraction not enough? Why is love not enough? There are people who love each other, and they both feel alone in the world. Love doesn't take away the aloneness. Any minute, you can fall out of love, and you're back to yourself, and you're alone again. What takes away the feeling of aloneness is a relationship that is forever. Love can't be forever unless the person who you love is there forever. So the stability comes from the person, not from the love. Love is not stable. Love is unpredictable, which is part of what makes it exciting. If the love becomes predictable, it's boring. So love can't keep a couple together. If I can't afford to lose you, that will keep us together. But if I don't get it from you, like Elad said, if I don't get it from you, I'll get it from somebody else. And that's what's happening all over the world. We got married because we were in love. We fell out of love, gone. Then I don't need you. Or worse than that, if you marry someone for love, and 2 days into the marriage, let's say your wife gives you her opinion, and you're horrified, you're shocked. I didn't marry you for an opinion. I married you for love. Why are you giving me opinion? Keep your opinion to yourself. So I'm not married to you. I'm married to one part of you. The rest annoys me. What kind of marriage is that?
So what would you say to someone who feels they married the wrong person?
Well, then we get into the mystical part of it. No marriage can ever be wrong. Marriage is way too important for God to allow us to make mistakes. So no marriage is a mistake. It's a magical arrangement where two parts of one neshama find each other from across the ocean, from across the world. Somehow, miraculously, they find each other, and when they get married, they are reunited. That's a marriage. We can't do that. We can't know who the other part of our soul is. Only God can do that, and God arranges every marriage.
Many people today date through dating apps. It's based on photos that people see and short sentences and things like that. And some of them do get married. Some of them continue to search for their second half through these platforms and other methods. A lot of people don't have the community to support them and natural surroundings to find their second half. Some of these people have the feeling that they may never find their second half, or that they found a person that they're not 100% happy with. What kind of advice could you share with these people?
Well, the first thing is, the reason you feel like you'll never find your other half is because you can't. You can never find the other half. So don't even try. It will happen when the time is right. When it's destined and meant to happen, then it'll happen. Question is, how will you know when you do meet the other part of your soul? So there are two problems. One is, like you were saying, the relationships, the dating is so shallow and so immature, based on silly things. On the other hand, there are couples who live together. In every way, practically speaking, they are married, but they're not married. They're just testing it. They're just exploring. So they live together for 6 years, and then they decide to get married, and within a year they're divorced. So what does work? So the first thing is innocence. Don't play games. Don't make schemes. Don't think you can be so smart that you're going to find and you're going to appeal and you're going to seduce somebody. And it's just so not innocent. A scheme. You're going to trick somebody into marrying you. You'll put on your best smile and it's just not real. It's not real. It doesn't have innocence. The way you know that this person is a potential soulmate is the chemistry. Not what you see with your eyes and not what works on paper. The chemistry. And what is good chemistry that you can base your marriage on? Elad?
We don't know where our spouse is going to come from. God is very creative. we're looking to see many things. So on the level of the mind, we're looking to see that we agree on the basic principles of life, and that we share a certain vision, and that we have some sort of values that are connected. On another level, we need to see that there's nothing bothering us or making us uncomfortable or cringe, repelled by that other person. And then we want to see that there's some sort of like an attraction of the heart, Meshichat Alev, which is a special kind of almost magical chemistry that happens as you kind of yearn for closeness with that other person. For a man, the attraction of the heart should be, I want to take care of this woman. I want to be in charge. I want to give her myself and everything I have. And I want to show her my life and to take her into my life. There's a strong sense of like leadership and generosity and confidence that should come. And for a woman, the attraction of the heart is exactly the reflection of that. So it means like, I want to receive from that person his influence, his ideas, his life, basically. I want to receive him. I feel relaxed and comfortable to let him take the lead, to receive what he has to give. And I feel like a woman, like the song, you make me feel like a natural woman. It's an exciting thing. It's a pleasurable thing. It's a magical thing. It's like you want to meet again. You can't wait to see the person again. And then there's a sense of like, yeah, this is my person. Like this is who I'm going to choose to spend the rest of my life with. And if all that happens, plus you actually get married, because sometimes all of that happens and then things, fall apart, and the parents come in there and something doesn't work. But if all that happens and you get married, you can be certain this is your spouse.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Why do you call marriage God's startup?
Because everything in Israel is a startup.
Is there another reason for that?
On a human level, especially today in our times, there is no really good reason to get married. Why would I create some sort of oath or contract? We want our space, our privacy. Marriage kind of comes against so many qualities in that sense. So then you ask yourself, so why? And then the only good reason, the fact that God asked us to. Marriage is a godly enterprise. It's a godly startup because He gave us this instruction in His Torah. And since then, humans are getting married. Why are they getting married? Because God told them to. There were times in history where that commandment from God was also making sense in life. So it was an economical decision, it was a security, a social, a tribal. It was just basically the only way to live. You will practically, especially for women, you would die if you don't get married. But today we face that very special time when we can say, I'm getting married because God asked me to. Because otherwise I would be crazy. But I want to be crazy on that way. I want to be crazy for God.
As much as I can believe in that and you can believe in that, so many people are finding difficulty believing in that and living the will of God in their day-to-day life. So how could they be so sure that this is the right decision for them?
So if someone tells me, I don't believe in God, therefore I'm not getting married, I'm not going to argue with them because it makes sense. I guess the question of God, does God exist? Does God have a will? For that we have the other book.
But also there are people who have natural instinct. It's like they don't believe in God, but they believe in a soulmate. They don't know where that concept comes from. They don't even know what it means, but they're sure that there is someone there that is meant for them. How can it be meant for them? If God intended it, but they don't go that far. They just stop at soulmate. And that's why almost all of history And all over the world, getting married always involved a religious ceremony. Why? Why do you need a rabbi or a priest or a ceremony? Why? Because without it, it's not a marriage, it's a roommate.
Thank you for the answer.
Oh, by the way, if a marriage ends in divorce, it's a tragedy. Because you are married to the person you're meant to be married to, and if that doesn't work, that's an amputation. So even a marriage that fails, so to speak, was meant to be, especially if there were children. If you get divorced and you have children, you should never say the marriage was a mistake, because then you're saying the children were a mistake. They should never have been born, because you should never have married each other. Come on, that's a terrible thing to even think. So no, a marriage is never a mistake. A marriage between two men, two women, a Jew and a non-Jew, that's not a marriage. That's a union, but not a reunion. Because the soul divides into male and female. So a reunion would be if the male and female parts find each other and become one again. And the soulmate means you're both parts of the same soul, but if you're a Jewish soul and you're a non-Jewish soul, then you can't be part of the same soul. So even if you live happily ever after together, you are living a union, not a reunion. It's not marriage. Obviously, a reunion is much more powerful. You're going back to being one. You're not just trying to be one.
Somehow, sometimes the unions work better. But it's because the union really operates on the human level. So we get along together. We have a similar character, so it kind of like works. Sometimes the reunion, because it's only on the soul level, and you have to make it work on the human level. So sometimes your spouse might come into a body that grew up in a place, in a family, and that you don't get along with, and there's some work to do there. Maybe you must have the godly perspective, not only to have a good reason to get married, but also to make the marriage work. Because when marriage gets hard, if you don't have the divine element in it, if you don't know this is the other part of my soul, this marriage was arranged from heaven, this is faith, this is inevitable, and this is the purpose of my life, to make this the best thing I can, then why would you stay there even? So it's not only why would you marry, it's why would you stay within the marriage if once it doesn't work. So I think today marriage must include an element of holiness in them, as they did in the past, as the rabbi said.
Very, very strong words. I can see why you decided to write a provocative also on the book. It's very deep, and I really thank you for sharing these thoughts. What advice could you give to a person who's looking for a partner today, especially on the secular world? We'll start with you, Rabbi.
The best advice is stop dating. If you really want to get married, get married. Don't date. Dating has become an alternative lifestyle. People who are dating think they're in a meaningful relationship. It's not. It's just a painful relationship. That doesn't make it meaningful. So a couple who are not married and they're not getting along so well and they're going for therapy, is that not crazy? You don't get along, so say goodbye. What are you going to therapy for? To make it work? To make what work? See, we're more serious about dating than we are about marriage. It's a crazy upside down world. Stop dating unless you want to be married by this time next year. If you have no intention to be married by this time next year, don't even date. Don't waste your time and don't bother anybody else.
Elad, would you like to give us your advice as well?
Yeah. So following on that, I think you need to have a clear goal statement and like a purpose. Why are you going on this date? If you're going on this date to find like a one night thing or to get sex or anything like that, you need to be honest. It needs to be very, very clear. And you need to ask yourself, well, where will this lead you? If you're going on it because you want like a fun, non-committing, a few months or a few years also, then that's what you're looking for. But many people kind of say that they want to get married, but they don't mean it. But if you want to get married, then we have to kind of like normalize putting it on the table immediately and really being clear about why we are here, why are we meeting. Like, especially I think women are afraid of that. If I'll tell him I want to get married, then he'll run away. Be very clear in the reason why you're here together with that other person. The other thing is, let's say you decided that you want to get married, you're looking for your wife, and it's almost like a treasure hunt. It's like you lost something. I'm looking for my wife. If you're not in that state of mind, I'm looking for my wife, go and do some more searching and then come within you and then come again. But you need to find that feeling, that sense of mission, that sense of a quest.
So what you're saying is, you don't marry a woman, you marry your wife. It's very different. If you're looking for a woman, well, there's a big selection out there. And then it's a beauty contest or some competition among women, among men. If you're looking for your wife, you're not competing with anybody. You're not just looking for a pretty face. You're looking for something very fundamental, yours always, from before you were born till after you die. It's a completely different search. It's a completely different objective. When men and women spend a lot of time together, she stops being a real woman and he stops being a real man because they compromise for each other. In marriage, the woman becomes a real woman and the man becomes a real husband. That's a very important part of, because couples do get married, but they don't become husband and wife. They remain a man and a woman who are married to each other. Doesn't work. Men and women are not good for each other. Husbands and wives can't live without each other.
Does it take two for tango, as they say, or can one side really try and fix the relationship by himself or by herself?
In principle, only someone who is responsible for the whole marriage can fix the marriage. In marriage counseling, if the man can agree or admit that he himself ruined the marriage completely, has nothing to do with her, he did something that ruined the marriage. If he can admit that, then he can fix the marriage. But if he says, okay, I wasn't perfect, maybe I made some mistakes, but she did a lot of damage too. Oh, in that case, you can't fix it. Now you're a victim. If you're the victim, you can't fix it. And the same is true with the wife. If she can admit, I ruined the marriage, has nothing to do with him, I killed it, I ruined it, Oh, in that case, then you can fix it. So if each one can take 100% responsibility, then either one of them can fix it. And it works beautifully.
And if one of them do not take responsibility and just blame the other one?
Then they'll blame and blame and blame again and back and forth, and they'll just, until they can't stand it anymore, and then they'll get divorced.
So they must both take responsibility. And how about cases when one side is not really clear in his or in her mind and is not willing to take responsibility?
Well, if you can't take responsibility for the damage, then you can't take responsibility for the fixing. You're going to take some responsibility, so you'll have a little piece of marriage. Doesn't work. A husband has to be 100% husband, and a wife has to be 100% wife. If you're not, then you're the one who killed it. So what's the solution? Become a husband. Wives love husbands. So become a husband, and she will love you. Become a wife, and he will love you.
When it does work, as you write in your book, a relationship can turn a house into a home. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Probably the most powerful thing in the human experience is home. There's nothing like it. The feeling when you are home and comfortable, it's heaven. It's literally Gan Eden. How do you create that? How do you produce that? So here's a very serious problem. A woman gets married. She's married to her husband for 20 years, which means she's now 40, 42, 45. And the husband hired a new secretary. The wife hears that the husband hired a new secretary. She goes into anxiety. She has to have pills. She needs therapy. She can't sleep at night. She's 45, and she's competing with a 25-year-old secretary. That is so cruel. It's so evil to put a woman in that position. How is it possible that a woman should be 50 years old, the husband says we just hired a new secretary, and she's gorgeous, and the wife is completely content, secure, good, it's good for the business, a beautiful secretary, fine, great. Not threatened at all. That's a home. A home is a place where you can't be threatened, where you know this is where I belong, this is where she belongs, this is where the children belong. This is our place. We are home. How do you create that kind of sanity? I like to use the example when the Israelis went into Entebbe to free the hostages. After they eliminated the terrorists, what did they say to the hostages? We came to save you because we love you. No, they didn't say that. They said, let's go home. Perfect. Couldn't have said anything better, stronger. So that's what a marriage is supposed to produce. This is my place. There's no place else I would rather be. This is my wife. This is my husband. There's no one else I would rather be with. And what I'm doing here, running a family, running a home, there's nothing I would rather do than this. That's heaven. And that's why if it's not like that, then it's hell.
That was beautiful, Rabbi Manis Friedman. Your definition of home and how a relationship can create that. Could you give one advice to couples who do want to establish a home within a relationship?
I think the first principle is, in a marriage, there's giving and there is receiving. There's no taking. Taking is abuse. If I marry you in order to take something from you, it's a crime. There's no taking. The goal and the objective of the husband is to make sure that the wife has a comfortable, easy, enjoyable life. And the purpose for the wife is to make sure that the husband has a comfortable, successful life. This woman was complaining very seriously that her husband leaves his clothes around the house and she has to pick up after him. And she was so upset. I am not here to pick up after you. I'm not, blah, 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 blah. I said, excuse me, did you forget why you got married? You got married because you wanted to make his life easier. You have the best husband in the world. All you need to do to make his life easier is put away his shirt. We forget we're here to make each other's life easier. And if I successfully make your life easier, I am successful. You came to give, either to give security, stability, or to give intimacy. You didn't get married in order to get. Without that innocence, you're just going to fight over every little thing. It's going to be a misery.
So she should thank him for leaving his clothes all over the house.
No, he should thank her for putting it away. That's all she wants. Don't just leave it there and expect me to take it away. If you left it there and I put it away, at least say thank you. That's all.
And through the gratitude, a real change may occur.
Yeah. See, men, here's a secret. Men need compliments. A husband needs a compliment because he's there to accomplish something. If you give him a compliment, it means he accomplished something. It doesn't matter what it is. Right? Men used to open the door for the women. And the feminist said, excuse me, I can open the door myself. I know you can open it yourself, but I'm here to make your life easier. Let me. So a man needs a compliment. Wow, you did that. Oh, that means I accomplished something. Surprisingly, women don't need compliments. They like compliments. They don't need compliments. They need appreciation. They know what they do for the marriage. They don't need to be reminded that they're accomplishing something. But they hate when you ignore them. They hate to be taken for granted. I made you breakfast. That's not an accomplishment. Don't compliment me. But say thank you. Notice that I made breakfast for you. You just take the breakfast and go. So women need to be appreciated. Men need to be complimented.
That's an important lesson.
There's one thing that I see that is really good when couples take this book and they just say, okay, this is our weekly date. We have this 1 hour, we open it, we discuss it. So then what I'm getting is many messages by people who say, the book has saved my marriage. And that's amazing.
And your book, Rabbi Manis Friedman and Dr. Elad Ben Elul, is full with so many great lessons for everyone. I really enjoyed it, and I really want to thank you for joining us today. Manis, you joined from New York, and Elad, you joined from Jerusalem. Rabbi Manis Friedman and Dr. Elad Ben Elul, thank you so much for joining us today. Back to Innocence, בחזרה לתמימות, a book that can help you find your partner, help you build your relationships.
And it's best to discuss the book on swings. This was a public service, by the way, right? We actually did a public service. Change people's lives, maybe even save people's lives. This is a huge mitzvah, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you. I'm Leroy Yahav, and this was another episode of Paper Treasure Podcast, brought to you by Book Club TLV. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to follow the podcast and connect with us on social media. I want to say thank you to Zalman Gabriel for devoting me this book. He's a dear friend, and he also helped us establish this episode. So thank you. Until the next time.